Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we have another episode brought to you by Blade Ops. Be sure to look them up for all of your knife and EDC needs. And today we're taking a look at another knife from the Kershaw launch series, and this is the launch 14. And yeah, Houston, we have a problem. We'll talk about that later, but first, let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We are looking at an overall length of 7.75 inches, a blade length coming in at 3.375 inches, and a blade thickness at 121 thousandths. Blade material on this guy is, as with most of the launch series knives, CPM 154, which is a pretty respectable steel. We have a cleaver style blade shape with a flat grind, a handle length coming in at 4.375 inches with a handle thickness at 475 thousandths. Handle material on this guy is carbon fiber and aluminum. Smaller piece of carbon fiber, mostly aluminum. They did a pretty good job with it though, I gotta say. We have of course, the button lock locking mechanism with the automatic, and we have a user of a right or left hand tip up carry, a weight coming in at 3.2 ounces, and a price of $143.95. And of course, with all launch series, it is made in the good old USA. So that's always a real big positive behind this line. It's always really cool. It's really one of, if not the biggest competitors of the ProTech automatics. ProTech does, in my opinion, rather easily hold an advantage over these guys, but they do a good job. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But first, let's take a look at some size comparisons and see how this knife stacks up with some other ones. Let's bring out the Kaiser Escort, as well as the Benchmade Mini Adamas. And as you can see, actually lines up really well with both of those knives. And let's bring a couple more out here. Let's go with, I'm terrible at decisions. Let's do the Hodeca, as well as the Spyderco Shaman. Why not? It's always good to put the Shaman on the table. I also just really love middle finger flicking this Shaman. And I'm kind of surprised. I thought the Shaman would be a little bigger, but it's actually not much longer than this Launch 14. So nice to know. I think we now have a very good idea of the size of this knife, and we can get to talking about it. First of all, the blade. This is I would say probably the most unique blade in the launch series. Most different. I mean, it's the only cleaver. And it has kind of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like a cyber look to it almost. But definitely a cleaver shape. Which I'll be honest, cleavers aren't my favorite blade shape, but I think for what they did with this knife, I really like how they tied the blade to the handle, and they gave it a real good theme. It does look good. Has a decent edge at 20 thousandths and a pretty high flat grind with a nice swedge up there. So you'll have some pretty good cutting geometry on the end of this blade. Should be somewhat slicey, and yeah, pretty good performer. The only problem I have with cleavers is you kind of lose a little bit of that tip goodness. I mean, you still have a tip. It still actually will work very nice for the draw cuts and all that stuff. And there is an aspect to this type of knife to where I really like this right here. Like, this is a great way to hold this knife, as long as it locks up on you, as you saw. We'll talk about it, but yeah, I really like this grip position here. It makes the draw cut very easy, very friendly, very effective. But yeah, and a really nice choil here, and we'll just go right into the ergos, because the ergos are actually great on this knife. Probably the best ergos of any launch series from Kershaw. I really, really do like the ergos on this. It feels great choked up, and it really honestly feels just as good choked back. So no complaints with the ergos. Very impressed with that. They got a lot of stuff going on, but nothing feels like hot spots. There's nothing real obtrusive or annoying, so that's always good. I like the darker gray they went with on the aluminum. I like how they put that lanyard hole in there. Looks like it kind of belongs there, so that's kind of cool. And a nice carbon fiber. Nice fit and finish. And overall, a very solid handle. You always have the nice kind of full back of the knife with open holes, so it makes it easy to clean, but it also adds a lot of real good stability back there, which is important. So yeah, solid design, I think. Pocket clip is definitely nothing special, but it does work. The clip actually looks like it doesn't belong. It's so kind of like, I guess maybe cheap is the word, but generic, just doesn't look good. There's so much other stuff going on with this knife. The clip just looks like an afterthought. Like, oh, the knife's done, but oh shit, we forgot a clip. Well, I'll just put this on there. That's really what this looks like, but hey, is what it is. The rest of the knife is overall solid. The action's good, but now we can talk about the monkey in the room. That I don't know what's causing this. I've never had this issue before with a Launch Series knife, so yeah, it's coming out so fast, it's just not catching. It's not catching, and there it caught. I think maybe it just needs to be oiled or something. I don't know. It feels like this area up here is just a little stiff. So I've noticed if I hold on to the knife and push down and like try and brace for the deployment of the blade is when it does that. Oh, it actually didn't do it that time. So who knows? Maybe I'm just not sure. Maybe it's just completely random. But yeah, that's a problem, obviously. Now you can of course always just do that and it's locked. And once it's locked, you do have a lockup that is solid. I will say I'm not worried about the blade closing on you for a second once it's actually locked. But it's got to be locked. And there's been a couple times where it would come out and I thought it was locked and it wasn't. So this is kind of a unique situation. I really like to review knives as they are. When I get a knife like this, I don't want to send it back and get another one sent to me because I want you guys to see that, this is a potential problem. So look for this. That's one of the reasons I have my channel. I don't just have a YouTube channel to sell knives. I don't sell knives. I talk about the knives I like. And when knives have a problem, you need to know about it. So yeah, I don't expect every Kershaw Launch 14 to have this issue, not by any stretch of the imagination. But it is obviously a problem with some of these. Did it again. Yeah. So that's not good. So yeah, obviously if you have one, if they all have this issue and it's like a bad defect, which I highly doubt it is, or there would have been a recall on them. So I'm assuming this one just has some issues. So if this didn't have issues, like the action itself, the power of the deployment is good. It's a good snap. It's very pro-techy almost. It's impressive. But it's got to lock up every single time. I mean, Pro-Tech's I've had one Pro-Tech that's done that to me, and that was like 7 or 8 years ago. So I mean, it's slim to none for that to happen to a Pro-Tech, and it's actually pretty rare for it to happen to a Kershaw Launch Series because this is the first time it's happened to me on a Launch Series as well. So yeah, I don't know what to say about that. The knife itself, I do like. I would recommend as long as it doesn't have this problem. And again, I'm saying this with the confidence that they don't all have this problem. If they do all have this problem, then no, I wouldn't, obviously. But that aside, I like the design. Like I said, I don't love cleaver blades, but this one does kind of work. They did a really good job of making it look good. I really hope they don't all have this lockup issue. If you've had one of these before and it's had that issue, please let me know. I'm very curious as to whether or not this is a real problem or if it is something that is just very, very low risk, very low chance of having that issue, and I just happen to get one. So I don't know. That's it, guys. Not a bad offering from Kershaw. Hopefully yours locks up. But that's it. Let me know what you guys think of this knife. Really hope you enjoyed this review. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.